Mhm. Hello, everybody. This is Atropa Everwood, and today we're going to be doing another fashion history drawing stream. So, wait, where's my pencil sharpener? So, probably going to keep tonight's a little bit shorter since I have to get up early tomorrow for reasons. But we'll be focusing on civilian clothing of around the American Revolution period. American Revolution times, whatnot. So, gonna probably keep it to 2 looks tonight. Sorry, just a little bit distracted because I finally got the next book in this one series that I really like. So, kind of got that today, so I kind of got distracted reading. So, slight delay in getting the stream started, but it is what it is. So, anyways, clothing in the American Revolution. I guess today I'll actually be focusing on menswear looks instead of just women's wear. I figured I should mix things up slightly. So, I guess some slight differences between the previous looks I've done. I mean, for one thing, you aren't going to be wearing stays. I don't think you're going to be wearing stays. You probably shouldn't be wearing stays if you're wearing menswear. Ew, that's an awkward sort of. Hold on. Oh yeah, I probably should grab a paper. Wait, where's my pencil? Yeah, that's gonna be annoying finding my. Oh, there it is. Fell on the floor. Oh shit! Still? What the? Why? I was sure I updated that. I definitely updated that. God damn it. Let's see if I can fix that. Stupid. Okay. Wait, I think I still need to do 1 or 2 more things. Okay, this should be better. I think. Yeah, stupid. I mean, it might be an issue with Streamlabs at least. Okay, so let's go with one of these sheets. We can take up a little bit more room since we're doing 2 figures tonight. Because yeah, I have to get up a bit earlier than usual because I have to run an errand. Which is absolutely horrible having to get up early. I mean, and actually get dressed. Just, oh, the horror. Oh, the humanity. But I figure I should take advantage of having to go into the city to also pick up a few other things. I could use a bit more watercolor paper. But first, we need to actually sort of get some sort of figure down on paper. I guess that's one thing about this. But yeah, sorry, kind of distracted by the book because that just came into I just finally picked up a copy today. But it's a really fun series. It's a Monster Hunter International. But pretty much the whole premise is the author was like, you know what if there's like a typical horror movie monsters, but the person they're going who's about to become the victim of said monster actually knows what they're doing. Hold on. I probably should add a few more a few hundred more points to this redeem. But oh yeah, so the volume I just picked up for that book, just sort of well, it starts in Atlanta. Oh yeah, no, that's a bit off topic. So yeah, the premise is pretty much like monsters are real, and I guess they kill a lot of people, but occasionally people who aren't complete pushovers get attacked, and they once they're killed, the government's well, yeah, it's hard to explain. Pretty much, the whole premise is centered around the main character ends up working for a monster hunting company after his boss turns into a werewolf and almost eats him. So it starts out pretty good, where his boss apparently got turned into like the beginning of it. His boss apparently gets turned into a werewolf and is going like full like batshit, and the main character finally like starts to turn into a werewolf right in front of him, and the main character is like, "Hey, no like no weapons at work policy that our workplace has? Yeah, I've never actually followed that." And then just mag dumps on the boss, of course, which doesn't work because they're a werewolf. But then it turns into a massive fight, and then the main character just barely survives, and he figures out that there's like a whole like pretty much that monsters are real and everything. And then he gets recruited for a company that hunts monsters. For profit, of course, because apparently there's a secret bounty system in place. Okay, something seems off about this figure. I guess it's just one of those days. I'm too busy thinking about hunting monsters. But yeah, the newest book in the series starts in Atlanta, where they're about to where they're trying to break into or deal with some sort of a mystical artifact being black market dealt because they need it for a reason. And then somebody else steals it, and they're stuck doing this whole chase scene through Atlanta in late summer, early fall, which is to say when Dragon Con is going on. So I'm still reading that scene, but there's a whole fun thing with how lizard people are getting away while the main character is forced to dodge all sorts of like Deadpool, like numerous Deadpool cosplayers, the occasional overweight male Sailor Moon cosplay, and all the other cosplays you see at those kinds of events. Kind of a fun scene. But yeah, it's a really fun series because the author actually used to like consult for police departments and SWAT teams on tactical stuff. So all of like the shooting autism stuff, like shooting like nitpicky stuff, is actually very well written. Sorry. Yeah, it's a very fun series. Or maybe that's just my opinion. Let's see. And hair would be clubbed because that was the style at the time. Have this go down here. Have an ear right here. Hat. We'll keep it relatively mundane for the headwear. Wait, no. I should be about right there. Mouth should be right there. Okay, and oh, I need one of those wigglies at some point. Okay, shirt. We'll give it a higher collar. Then a cravat. And of course, overcoat. I believe at the time they were actually going for a bit more. Okay, maybe I'm getting earlier 1700s mixed up with later 1700s. I believe at the time waistcoats were getting a bit shorter. Like this. Okay, I probably should have done a little bit more research before starting this one. Someone this upper crust wouldn't be wearing a belt, I suppose. Let's actually make this a bit more. Yeah, there was a lot of time. Okay. I guess that hat is kind of precariously balanced right there. Actually, it kind of look like that one character from a Treasure Planet, I think. Okay, I guess I'm just really nose, mouth. Yeah, let's just run with this look. Okay, yeah, that does not look good. Or no, maybe I'm just being too harsh on myself. I probably am. Actually, we still haven't gotten into this part right here. I mean, you have the breeches. Which would probably stop around the knee. Then you'd have garters. And then shoes. See, actually the foot looks like that. Well, actually, no. There'd probably be a bit more turnout on the foot. Okay, so of course, what's being worn underneath this would be a shirt at the very least, if not a pair of drawers, too. Because, of course, the outer layers would be much more, like, a lot less comfortable fabrics, if you will. Shoes shoes at the time were actually straight lasted. There wasn't separate right or left shoes. They were just like shoes. Eventually one would sort of mold to the shape of your foot, but they 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 were both on a single last. They weren't as nearly as comfortable as modern shoes are. I believe a square toe was the thing for menswear. Buttons going up the side on the breeches. You'd probably catch the hint of these. Yeah, it'd be. Yeah, we'll give it a fall front breech because I kind of like how fall front breeches look. And then buttons. Buttons everywhere. I don't know. I'm actually kind of liking this look. I might need to double check something though. And actually, we'll just pull this arm out behind her because it's more fun that way. We'll get this sort of a jaunty look. So this is civilian clothing of the American Revolution. If this were a soldier, the outfit would likely look very different. Depending on which time during the American Revolution, there could be a lot of different outfits just for the American side. Because honestly, at the start of it, there's mainly just sort of conflict. It was mainly militias or public safety committees. Cravats were super popular and very fashionable. So this person is more of a politician type. Let's say like a skinny Benjamin Franklin or a Sam Adams. Buttons were a way of showing off wealth. So if you had a lot of money, you'd have a lot of buttons. I believe at the time there was actually sort of a trend for more like form-fitting garments, if I remember correctly. Having nice shapely calves was very popular with guys. So I guess from top, underneath you'd be wearing a shirt, which would be like linen or linsey woolsey maybe in the winter. I mean, cotton was something for very rich people because cotton was very hard to make at the time. So cotton was a luxury fabric because cotton could only be, at least for the US. Oh yeah, buttons are super cool. At least for the US, cotton was only able to be grown in a very small part of the United States. Which probably is different from what you remember, but there's a very specific historical incident that led to cotton becoming as notorious as it is now. And that would be Eli Whitney. Because if you remember correctly, if you remember, Eli Whitney inventing the cotton gin was a major historical event for a reason. Before he invented the cotton gin, I've probably gone into this before, but it's always worth repeating. Cotton was, there were multiple kinds of cotton, but sea cotton was the main kind that was actually grown for use. and that could only be grown in a very, very small part of near, pretty much near the barrier islands in like South Carolina, Georgia. Because the other kind of cotton that grew in America, upland cotton, was notoriously difficult to process because the seed pods in it were very, very sticky. So, of course, a few people did try to grow it, but it wasn't economically viable because it took workers, usually slaves, a whole lot of time to actually pull out the seed pods and process the cotton. There were machines that had been invented that could kind of do that, but they weren't strong enough to do that with upland cotton. So if you get a well-meaning inventor who happens to see somebody trying to do this and thinks, like they might think, oh, that's horrible. If only I could invent something to make life easier on those poor slaves stuck picking cotton seeds out of the cotton puff. I should remember that. Cotton boll, I think, is the prop. Then, well, actually, that's I guess that would be an example of the road to hell is paved with good intentions because he thought, oh, this is horrible. Maybe I should invent a machine to make it easier to do that task. But instead, Eli Whitney made growing upland cotton actually economically viable, which reignited what at the time was actually dying, or not dying, like decreasing need for slave labor. So Eli Whitney literally just, slavery was on its way out before Eli Whitney invented the cotton gin. So you could say that the Civil War is directly Eli Whitney's fault. Oh, also, random fact I just learned today. Apparently, black walnut the dust is an extreme irritant for people. So, I guess apparently that's something I should have learned before spending several hours working with black walnut on Monday without a respirator. But it is what it is, and I can't inhale all that sawdust. But I just thought that was kind of interesting. And let's actually make this a fancier one. Let's give it a white ribbon. Or white brim, if you will. So in order to get the hat to actually stay in the shape, it could either be molded, well, after giving the felt some sizing, or it could be sewn down, or tacked down in some other way. We'll give this a rosette. And of course, it was pretty common to wear your hair clubbed at sort of like the base of your neck. So if you look at any like period dramas from the American Revolution, you'll notice how the hair is longer and it's in like sort of a small ponytail at the base of the neck. If that makes sense. Well, it should make sense. That's a pretty simple concept. And sorry, just a little bit tired. But yeah, okay, so this is our first look, and we probably can start adding color to a few parts of the garment. Honestly, it's kind of fun playing around with the different eye shapes doing this. I just need to lighten that bit up a bit. And let's see, what's a good solid color? I believe at this time, America was actually going towards conservatism with dress. And, well, I already have this green mixed up, so let's go with green. Actually, let's get this green darker, much darker. We want like a stately American looking green. And actually, it's pretty common to have thread or fabric colored buttons at the time. I almost did a research paper on the topic of buttons. They're actually very, very interesting. Like there are thread colored buttons, fabric covered buttons, brass, pewter, all that. Embroidered buttons where they'd be fabric colored but covered but embroidered. No, the screen almost looks like a rifleman screen. Actually, I kind of like it. It's a very fun color. And it's a bit too sharp of a green for riflemen's, but this is civilian clothing. And of course, what color is the shirt gonna be? We probably shouldn't work on the shirt right now, actually, because we don't want paint to bleed. That would be annoying. Also, I really should have brought like really should have grabbed like some sort of a paper towel. So I could wipe off my brush. But that's just me being lazy, I suppose. What color should the hat be? The cocked hat is the term that would have been used at the time. I believe tricorn was the actual term tricorn was a bit later. They would have just referred to it as like a cocked hat. You even see the cockade right there. But I think the hat should be brown. Brown is a nice solid color for a hat. Or actually, no. Let's go with a dark blue. I think dark blue has a lot of potential for a very nice looking hat. Just dark. Like that. Dark. Not as dark. And then a light colored crown. But of course, we need to remember it gets a bit darker right there. And then while we have that blue on the brush, we can add a little bit of a shading to the white parts of this. Because these are going to be nice white silk stockings or wool stockings. And while we wait for that to dry, actually, let's also just add a little bit right here for the shirt collar. And while we wait for that to dry, we can move on to our next figure. I figured I could do two, but this next one is going to be the most exciting. We have our upscale city dweller, and now let's go a little bit pre-revolution, slightly. The waist would be about right here. You've all heard of The Last of the Mohicans, right? And no, let's not do that as the inspo. Let's go with something else. I know, I'm not liking that figure. We'll go with like a long hunter sort of look. Okay, where did that streak come in? You know who the long hunters were, right? They pretty much would go out and into like the wilderness, like the mountain areas, the Appalachians. That was the wilderness, and they would go and hunt game for like meat for market, furs, hides, that sort of thing. So we'll do a long hunter because honestly, that seems like fun to draw. And also, I guess the dress of a long hunter can sort of double up as a militiaman because at least early on in the war, they tried to recruit a lot of long hunters. Actually, George Washington famously tried to get like pretty much the clothing, the dress of a long hunter as part of the actual like official Continental Army uniform. Okay, actually, no, that foot should be forward. The weight is on this leg. Let's see. I guess you can see my fashion drawing background coming through, where all the legs have to be elongated. I've been trying to draw a bit more normal, but it's kind of hard not to. I mean, it's kind of hard to keep up that trend. So let's go full extreme. Actually, you won't even be able to see that high up because they'll be wearing this. Yeah, let's go about that length. We'll keep it a bit longer. Of course, you may also recognize this garb if you're familiar with some of the depictions of Lewis and Clark. Also, you may be asking, why am I drawing male figures as women? That's because I think like it looks cool. That's why. I don't need logic to do gender bends like this. See, wait, no, that spine should be right there, so they should. Yeah, I guess. Been a bit busy the past couple days, so might be slightly out of it. Or maybe I'm just making excuses for myself. I'm definitely making excuses for myself. I mean, for some reason, it's like hot and humid today. It's very, very not okay for the weather to be like unpleasant or above 70 degrees. There'd be a side seam, I believe, a leather belt, a buckle, a large, rather large buckle, actually. And then, of course, that belt would hold things like let's just say a tomahawk. Actually, like it was in the military revolutions that every like regulations that every militiaman should have a knife and a tomahawk. So say something like one of these. Very, very useful. You can even throw it, but I probably shouldn't. And of course, the head of the tomahawk easily comes off. So if you need to like scrape something away, you can take it off and use it as a scraper. Yeah, it's pretty much sort of like a friction fit on the head of the tomahawk, on the top part of the tomahawk. That kind of thing. But very neat. Fully channeling my Mel Gibson here. So yeah, I guess this is the fun part, doing all this. And that would I guess sort of catch on there. You have this sort of come out over that way and over that way. And you have a cape. Although if they have their arm raised, which I'm thinking I'll show it with the arm raised. Like this. And actually, these sleeves are very voluminous. Like this. And the hat. Despite everyone thinking about like coonskin caps being the thing, those weren't that common. So rather than a tricorn, we'll give her just one side raised. Actually, let's have it be the other side raised. Well, actually, that side's raised that way when you're shooting. Well, a lot of it comes to personal preference, but this way, if with the left shoulder raised, you won't accidentally knock the brim, which can be an issue, I guess. Let's make that face a little bit bigger. Nose, eye. Oh, I think it started raining, which makes sense. It was actually really humid out earlier. Yeah, I don't know why this head is giving me so much issues. I don't feel like maybe we can make it a little bit bigger. Then make the eye a little bit. Oh yeah, that's the other issue is well, we can add like a shirt here and a cravat. That seems like it'll be good for hiding the abnormally long neck in this drawing. like this. That hat should actually be a bit bigger. Meaning this brim should go out a bit more. This cape should go a bit further. And we'll make this arm a bit. So it's like, I don't know why she's shielding her eyes then, if she's a... Yeah, you can clearly see my lack of practice in drawing hands. I need to do my hand drawing reps. I guess you might see the hint of a thumb. And breeches seem like the best choice here. And moccasins. If we're going for the explorer theme. So breeches, if you know, they aren't trousers. Wait, no, these aren't breeches. They're leggings. So they go up to about the upper thigh. And if she's adopting the full native dress for the lower part, she'd be wearing a breech clout. Now known as a loincloth, technically. Although those are not exactly what you think. In function, they're actually a bit like a fundoshi, if you're familiar with those, where it's like a strip of cloth held on by a belt where it covers up all the important bits and stuff. Okay, this tomahawk is looking super awkward. But it is what it is. And we'll just assume that the knife that she inevitably has is behind her. So, a lot of fringe. Fringe here. And we'll give her a long rifle. I guess with that shape of stock, it would be a Lancaster County style long rifle. And of course, the reason long rifles, Pennsylvania American long rifles, were typically smaller caliber with a long barrel to ensure accuracy. So the idea was less a large ball with a lot of force behind it and more a smaller, faster, accurate ball. So that way you save on both powder and lead, because having that stuff shipped out to the colonies is expensive. So you want to get the most out of each of your shots, which is also why accuracy was such a big deal in America, because you want to make your hits count. Okay, I'd say her look is about ready for more paint. So let's go with a nice sort of gold on that waistcoat. This might be nice. We'll go simple colors for now, because I guess it's one of those days. So that's my excuse. And of course, we'll just have this get lighter primarily. So it matches her hair. Like this. And actually, we can keep the. Let's go for white breeches again. White breeches can look very nice, in my opinion. Yeah, white breeches. Super cool. Super fun. Trust me on this. White breeches. Vaguely military feeling, I suppose, but worth it. And we just need to hit this up with a little bit of white. And we'll now need to wait for that to dry. Oh, I think my gloves are causing all of this to smudge. Speaking of which, we're actually missing several important things from this drawing. First of all, her shot pouch, now something known as a postle's bag. But back then they would have called it their shot pouch, which holds all the accoutrements you need for your rifle. And of course, along with that, you want a powder horn. So, like that. Often you would pick the horn to have to curve around the body, depending on which hand you're going to use to load. So you'd have it curved so that the spout is facing forward on the right side. Was what was popular, at least. Actually, let's hit up this let's go with a brown for this frock. A light brown. It can look a little bit dirty because this is something that get dirty. I mean, this was going out in the woods, hunting, trapping, fighting, that kind of dress. So, very utilitarian and very useful. I'm pretty sure I remember seeing Lewis and Clark depicted as wearing this style of clothing too. And matching hat might look good. Or let's go with a black hat. That might be nice. So you probably could get a little bit darker on under there. And right here, because, yeah. Ideally, you want to actually be able to show this. Might get worn out in some places, might get stained in some places. And the breeches actually would be a much lighter color. We'll just say they're a slightly smoked buckskin. Not the breeches, the leggings. Breeches are what's on the left. These are leggings. Because it was very common for frontiersmen to just adopt a lot of the native customs and dress. Because it was practical for that environment, because they've lived there for hundreds and hundreds of years, if not longer. Because, I mean, people migrated everything. It wasn't a hard date on when and where that tribe moved there. But yeah, like moccasins, because boots, well, long lasting, boots would be very heavy and cumbersome. While moccasins, if you know how to make them, anybody can just throw together a pair of moccasins. Not to denigrate the whole craft of making moccasins, but and hat. Let's give her a black hat. Okay, where is my other? There. That's where that went. Let's see. Like this. Oh, no, moccasins are completely well, that depends. There were a lot of different kinds of moccasins and a lot of different ways of making them. But generally there wasn't really much rigidity. Generally. So, they'd be made from soft buckskin. They would wear out very fast, but they were light and easily portable. And therefore, since if you're spending hard months in the woods, your shoes are going to wear out. It's better to have something that's light and easily replaced than heavy boots like you would get back in like more western, more established areas of the colonies. Because heavy pair of boots is not gonna be fun if you're trekking through the woods for months on end. Unless you're in the military and have a supply train. But if you're a long hunter, going out for half a year to hunt, your shoes are not going to last that long. So you'd probably end up adopting native dress. And please forgive me, anybody who's watching this, but I'm not an expert in Native American footwear, so this is just going to be a rough approximation. And if we assume that this was a frontiersman who just made moccasins, they likely would have just made them the way they learned, possibly from somebody else who learned it from somebody else who actually would know what they're doing. So please forgive any inaccuracies or whatnot. But I don't do nearly as much research for this segment as I should. We'll assume wearing some sort of wool stockings because wool is amazing. Oh, I imagine there was some lacing used. See? Yeah, that nice sturdy color is very good. Let's just try and get this looking a bit more like that. And then let's hit up this belt too. Oh, thanks for the raid, Mel. We're just going over civilian clothing of the American Revolution. Oh, thanks for the follow, X4Veer3R. Yeah, it's just finishing this long hunter. And then I need to go back to our politician and touch up a few of the... Actually, no. She needs skin tone. That's what she needs. Yeah. Just because I'm about that pale in real life doesn't mean I want all my drawings to look that pale. So let's see how this color looks. Maybe a little bit more water. And let's get that ear. That ear. And just fill in all the details here. And while we have this color mixed, let's see if we can add some color to our Mountain Man too. Well, not Mountain Man. The Fur Trade era was actually the next century after this one. Actually, we'll say it's a warmer day, so we'll give her some skin color on her legs too. That the hand coming across here, looking forward to the horizon. Scouting for the next trading post, maybe. Where she could pick up some, maybe some beer. No, not beer. Some whiskey. I actually bought some whiskey today, but I'm busy. I have to get up early tomorrow, so I can't drink too much. I'll keep it to like 5 or 6 glasses of wine, maybe. Actually, that's something I probably should hit up. Well, not hit up. Is hit up the term I want to use? Okay, we'll go with this brassy color. Fancy brass buttons on the breeches. And actually, let's see if I can get this heavy enough to do brass on the waistcoat too. Because, yeah, buttons were a way of showing off how rich you are. Oh, thanks for the follow, the mechanic hat. We have Mechanized Doge and Mechanic Hat. Oh, thanks for the follow, Victus Bro. Oh, that's something else we need to do is, Oh, thanks for the follow, Lepon Kutsu. Let's go with this reddish for the Possibles bag. So yeah, this bag I'm painting right here would be filled with all sorts of different tools and stuff you need, like a short starter, powder measure, a turn screw, a ball puller, extra ammo for the rifle, and all sorts of other stuff. Actually, this reddish color is probably good for the stock too. How many buttons do I have? I don't know. I also have the stuff I need to make my own buttons too. I mean, I have brass and other stuff in the basement, my basement. And actually brown works for both of these because the way they would have treated the metal on the barrel for a long rifle would be to brown it, which is pretty much a way of, you can almost call it pre-rusting the barrel, for lack of a better term, to stop it from corroding when out in the elements. So pretty much it's controlled oxidation to the surface of the steel, well, the iron of the barrel. If you're wondering where the term Brown Bess gets its name, it's because that treatment was used on the barrel of the British muskets of the time too. It actually makes a very, very beautiful color. I mean, I have a rifle that I made the barrel with this treatment, but unfortunately I signed my name on the barrel. So I'm not gonna really show that example because I don't want you all seeing my last name. Sorry. And I kind of screwed it up, but the furniture on this actually would have been brass. I forgot the Oh, I forgot the patch box too. Oh, well, we'll just say it's not right. Because they would have went with brass because actually, if well, they would have went with brass because iron or steel had other more practical uses. So, and brass was actually super easy to work with. Well, it still is super easy to work with. But this blade right here would be steel on the tomahawk. Everwood. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. And let's see. I need to double check something. Around right here. There. Oh yeah, you see this napkin I grabbed that's already covered in ink. But that's just normal for me. What do you mean you don't have... I mean, I guess my apartment at this point is serving more as like a studio than a place to live. Which I don't have an issue with. It's fun that way. I mean, who doesn't like being surrounded by art supplies and all sorts of other fun stuff? I enjoy it. It's like, I don't know, it makes me feel like professional almost. Oh wait, crap, I forgot that's a color that needs to be colored. Like right here. Oh, blood. Where? I do have a cut on my thumb, but that was a couple days ago, so it shouldn't be bleeding. Oh, and I got bit up a whole lot because I actually went outside yesterday. Well, I went outside today too, but I went like outside, like in the woods yesterday. And I got absolutely bit up by a bunch of like fucking mosquitoes. It was horrible. I initially forgot my oh, the paint tissue. Oh no, that's not blood, that's ink. Yeah, don't worry too much. That's ink. But yeah, I just got like completely bit up by mosquitoes. It was horrible. I ended up going back to my car and actually grabbing my Hello Jack Dropless. Ended up going back to my car and grabbing a insect repellent that I forgot I had. But it was horrible. And there was like nothing out there too. Like, which sucks because I kind of was hoping I could get a free meal for my trouble of going out in the woods. Oh yeah, it was like, that's probably why I didn't get anything, is because I was too busy scaring away all the game by slapping myself repeatedly. Because mosquitoes. It was bad. Very, very bad. So this is a fancy cravat. Because this is a politician. Or a son or daughter of liberty, I guess would be what she would call herself. So, very dignified, very distinguished. Ready to go sign the Declaration of Independence and admit to treason against the crown. Because she holds to a higher natural right as a Thomas Paine or numerous other philosophers would have put it. I think that was Locke. I don't know. I've been too distracted by reading stuff all day to reading fun fiction all day to really keep such high-minded ideals in mind. And while we're at it, let's darken her lashes. Because of course somebody going out in the woods is going to be having like massive eyelashes and everything. And I guess you can't see her eyebrows because she's currently looking out over the wilderness, the vast, unexplored. Oh, what have I been reading? Monster Hunter International. I literally just got the next book in the series today. It's one of my favorite, like, modern fantasy series. Mainly because the characters are just so relatable. Okay, try and make this hunting frock look a little bit more frock-ish. Trying to show the fringe. And all this. And the leggings actually don't have fringe on them. That was not like everybody thinks like tassels and fringe on like leathers, like leather buckskins is like the native look, but for Eastern tribes that actually wasn't that common. And a lot of the Eastern explorers copied Eastern tribes because they know what they're doing. So it wouldn't be realistic to have, I mean, they would have the fringe on their hunting frock because that's a Western or a colonial look. But the leggings would be copied from the natives, which means that the leggings would be probably follow native trends, which means that they wouldn't have fringe. So sorry to ruin anybody's deep-seated beliefs in what people would have worn. But it's not that bad, I suppose. Ooh, lock plate, prison, all that. And I believe, actually, if you go back through my backlog or VODs or whatever. Oh no, these aren't trousers. These are leggings. No, chaps are for protection while riding a horse. That's what chaps are for. Yeah, chaps are known for having fringe at times. But that's Western wear. This is Eastern for the most part. But let's okay, and there'd be pockets. I kind of screwed up on drawing that. This. Oh well. I guess tonight's stream really is going to be a shorter one anyways. You know what? We probably should color that ribbon. Actually, what we need to do, because who cares about realism? Let's give them a red ribbon. Because that would look cool. And while we're painting the ribbon, might as well. Because, yeah, somebody going exploring the wilderness will have a lipstick on. Totally believable. But it's my artwork and I can add whatever anachronistic stuff I want. Oh, oh yes, I did miss the redeem. Sorry. But oh yeah, I went to actually visited a sawmill today. So yesterday I was in the woods doing woodsy stuff. And today, which of course was super tiring because I had to get up at like 5 in the morning. And I've been used to sleeping in the past like while. And today I went to a sawmill. So kind of interesting. So, because I've been thinking, I've had a few. Oh, the shoes. Oh yeah, I need to paint the shoes. That's a good question. I mean, well, that's a good catch. So yeah, I went to a sawmill. There's a few projects I was actually thinking would be cool to have. Is like a sort of try and do a reproduction of like a like an early lap desk. That would be cool for doing calligraphy and whatnot. I would I would love like a vintage looking lap desk. And the one on the right has moccasins. But yeah, like a nice and I mean, I was just checking the prices for today. But who doesn't like looking at like building supplies and everything? Cause oh yeah, just like a nice like old fashioned looking like finely made lap desk to go with all my like calligraphy stuff. So imagine you're in public and you just at like a bar or something restaurant during the day, and you just pull out your lap desk, open it up, pop out a quill and ink, and just start writing. And we probably should color the cockade too. But what should we color? Let's just color the cockade black or blue. Let's do a dark blue. That seems like the best bet. A dark blue for the cockade. Because different colors would actually probably symbolize different things politically. Oh, thanks for the raid, Woozle. Today's been a bit more of a... Oh, thanks for the follow, Corkscrew. Today's been a bit more of a... Well, I want to say relax, but really I've just been sort of out of it. Let's see. You kind of want to show the details here. For some reason, they're all... Oh, I can't... Oh no, this is like... I could have sworn I made this joke before about gender bent founding fathers. But that's pretty much what this is supposed to be a like. Yeah, that's some sort of political-ish person. Hello, Discroft. Mm-hmm. So yeah, what you can see right here are Okay, the top would actually probably be some sort of canvas or linsey woolsey or other rough for the top. The leggings would actually be buckskin. Of course, buckskin actually first the process to make it, not it being from a buck deer, which is kind of interesting. So it's named after the actual process, the way the hides are processed, which makes a very soft and supple sort of a, yeah, very soft and supple sort of a material. And let's see if I can erase all this. For some reason, I think these gloves are like smudging things. It's very unfortunate, but oh god, no, the eraser is making it worse. Oh no, that's really not good. Oh yeah, that really wasn't good. But I don't know. I'm kind of I guess I'm kind of happy with the politician's outfit. So this is like more upper scale, while this is literally hunting animals for a living. Powder horn, bag of shot. We can actually go over what would be in that possibles bag too. So the horn would actually probably be cattle horn for the western U.S. No, eastern U.S. And of course, you'd have your powder horn, a measure, powder measure, and a patch knife. So like this. Inside the bag would be things like a short starter. This is used for getting the rifle ball, not a musket ball, because that's a rifle, started, because it's a lot less likely to snap than a long ramrod. Then once you get started, you can use the ramrod, because you don't want your ramrod breaking. Because if you're in the woods, that would be bad. And then you'd also have a ladle. And this is what you'd use for actually melting lead. If you remember the movie The Patriot, Mel Gibson has all those scenes where he's melting down the lead toy soldiers. So you'd take you'd usually carry like scraps of lead with you like this. I'm definitely gonna have to wash my hands after this stream because that's lead with a bit of ash mixed in because that's left over from over a campfire, which you'd use with your bag mold to cast bullets over the fire. So you'd put this actually over a stick, put that over the fire carefully so you don't spill your lead, because lead is valuable, because lead is bullets, and bullets are game. And then you take the mold for your rifle, pour this in, wait for it to cool, then out would pop a musket ball. It's actually good practice to keep a ball in here, to keep the jaws aligned while it's being stored. And you see you have this for cutting off the sprue. So, nippers attached. And then you'd have a flint wallet for storing spare flints. And you'd usually keep something in here like a hand-forged turn screw for doing maintenance, like a cleaning jag or a tow worm, and spare flints for your rifle, which you can see right here. And I guess this vent pick is super cool. I forged it myself, actually. And of course, you'd also keep spare patching material, which I don't have any spare patching material in here because a lot of times if you're in a rush, you lubricate it with saliva. And I have a whole bunch of lead in there, so I think it'd be bad to keep something I'm putting in my mouth in the same thing as a bunch of lead. Of course, that's just me. And you'd also keep like lubrication. A lot of times you keep like a mainspring vise for so you can actually do in-depth cleaning of your flintlock. And of course, all sorts a spare powder measure, all sorts of other stuff. And like a pan brush, all that other stuff. And of course, having a loading block helps too. So this is actually like an early, like this is like an 1700 speed loader for your rifle. So you drop the powder in the barrel, put one of these underneath the barrel of the rifle, take your short starter. That's not my short starter, that's a powder measure. And just sort of push this down. So you have a pre-lubricated patch and ball. This is actually lubricated with bear grease. That was a very popular lubricant. You can buy it in like tins still. Like this. I mean, what do you mean you don't have bear grease? Yeah, bear grease. Very useful stuff. Although you need to be careful about it possibly going rancid. But yeah, that's what that would be in that bag right there, is everything you need for your, I apologize for any bear VTubers. I swear I didn't kill them myself, at least. I didn't kill your relatives myself. I just bought stuff made from them. So that's something you'd always carry with you in case you're attacked, because not all the natives were happy about you being there. Well, bear grease is more authentic. That's the thing. It's better than Ballistol in that it's more authentic. I probably should put my bag ladle in my old back of my possibles bag. You know, just in case somebody attacks, like, you never know when you might need to fight for your life with your flintlock. So yeah, shot pouch. Nowadays, most people are into like historical stuff. Call it a possibles bag. Belt, tomahawk, because a lot of militias you're required to have a tomahawk, and you'd carry a knife, a rifleman's knife too, like an actual fighting knife, not just a patch knife. Odds are you'd be carrying multiple knives, because knives are useful. You can never have enough knives. I mean, just look, I have a knife right here. I have a knife down there. I have a knife behind me in an engraver's vise. It's actually called a ball vise, but it's meant for engraving stuff, because I was thinking that would be fun to do on stream. Oh, I want to learn how to tan leather, but I'm told my neighbors really wouldn't like that. Leather being tanned smells. That's why a lot of times tanneries were on outskirts of towns, is because it smells bad. It is not a pleasant smell. So, it was very common for tanneries to be away from stuff. Oh no, there are a lot of ways you could tan hides. A common way was actually brain tanning, because the brain has a lot. I mean, the term tanning comes from tannins, and the brain has a lot of tannins. And coincidentally enough, the brain of a creature has just about enough tannins to tan the hide of a creature, of the creature it came from. So brain tan was very, very common. And then there's oak tan, because oak is known for tannins. I mean, there's oak. I mean, people talk about like wines aged in oak having a lot of tannins from the oak. So oak tan leather was very common. But the whole history behind it's very interesting. Let's add a little bit more, make this fringe pop a little bit more. course, this fringe would actually be made by fraying the cloth. This is actually a cloth top, though that the fringe is just frayed. So we have our very intrepid explorer, Atropa. And then we have our politician, son of liberty. Well, daughter of liberty, I suppose. In our alternate American Revolution, where I'm somehow a politician. Let's see. But yeah, that I'm actually pretty pleased with this one. Oh, Spike, thanks for the raid. Just about at this point where we've mostly finished. Oh, actually, I probably should have, actually label these. Let's see. We'll give her a label. I know they say labeling people is bad, but everybody thinks about these won't be average everyday civilians because, I mean, there's history, so we want to label them as historical people. And we're even getting a calligraphy pen to do fancy writing. Sons of Liberty, clearly a girl. Sons of Liberty. I know somebody who knows what they're talking about is going to correct me and say, oh, that's not historically accurate for the time period. But wait, okay, am I forgetting how to write a 5? Let's see. Yeah, apparently I am. And this will be a long hunter. So pretty much hunting for the market. Oh yeah. I mean, calligraphy is super fun too. I need to do another actual just dedicated calligraphy stream at some point. Although the script I'm using is actually late 1800s, early 1900s, so not historically accurate. I actually just ordered a 1700s calligraphy manual today. And this will be pre-revolution. Because let's just say after the revolution started, she maybe joined one of the ranger companies. Oh, with the deckled edge on this, that actually looks very cool. And let's add some sort of other coloring. Yeah, I know, maybe a light sort of gray. Like cobblestones almost. Just like gray and brown of like one of the big cities like Boston or New York or Philadelphia. Or Baltimore, maybe. Charleston. All those. Well, over here, we would have maybe more of a woods brown kind of. Let's get this sort of filled in. Let's see how we can get this to look. This is my first time actually doing more than just quick splashes of color for backgrounds on these. So just get this in, fill that. And of course you want little, oops, maybe greens. Yeah, little bits of greens and other colors. Like a forest floor, almost. But yeah, this is, on this one, actually, probably could have. Oh, thanks for the subs. I haven't really done that much, just painting. And I still need to actually fill in some cobblestones. But thanks. Where did my pencil go? Where did my pencil go? There's a pencil. 6B should work. Just cobbles were common. But yeah, thank you so much. I do kind of like showing the ground they're working on though, because that does kind of show what the environment that they're dressed for. Like city compared to the wilderness, the vast unexplored. I don't know. Actually, I just really like I really wish breeches came back in style. I think that's a good look for everybody. And this is maybe why I'm not the most successful when it comes to fashion, is because I just think, you know what really just be yeah, I'd be the kind of person to say like, you know what day-to-day fashion, casual fashion needs? Large French court Rococo panniers. Yeah, Victor. Actually, I'm pretty sure I could swear Victoria's Secret has had panniers in a show. Panniers are not what they sound. Not like the modern panniers, as in like baskets, as in like the big side. If you think like French Rococo, or Baroque even, the very wide hip look where that's panniers. Stands for basket. It's like the pack baskets on a mule. And you could store stuff in those. You could fit a whole puppy in there if you wanted to keep your little puppy with you. Like just imagine that like you're in the French court and a little puppy just pokes its head out of a. Actually, I could swear that was a. Oh, it was that book series where there was a mouse living in Ben Franklin's hat and all the ideas Franklin had. Okay, around the house, a tropa is literally jeans and a t-shirt. Like, and I occasionally wear that outside the house too. Actually, today almost, well, it wouldn't have ended in a disaster, but I was like, I found like a shirt I had from like a light novel series. I was thinking like, why don't I ever wear this shirt? I should wear this shirt today. Then I remembered why I don't wear it because it specifically was a shirt about one of the villain characters, and the villain character was weird, and also like a sociopath, and had a weird fetish for hair. Very very weird character, and of course the shirt was referencing that interest. So, and even though it's a Japanese anime shirt, a lot of the writing is in English for some reason, even though it's a shirt bought in Japan. So it's like, ooh, shiny, smelly, shiny hair, cuticle, sweet smelling, something like that. Like very, very just weird. And then on the back, it shows the character in question in a speech bubble that says, "I'm a pervert." It's just like, oh, it's just like an absurdly extra shirt. It's like, that's why I never wear that shirt. That's why I never wear that shirt. It's like, yeah, I'm planning on going to. Oh, thanks for the follow. You came in at a very, very weird time. But hold on, where is that shirt? I'm gonna have to find that because it's just like absurd. Yeah, sorry for leaving you, but shortly, but I really just have to show off this shirt. It's just so. Is it really? Yeah. Hair, cuticle, sweet smell. Like literally like bright pink. And I'm a pervert. Yeah. I mean, it's a very, very fun series. I'm sure I've talked about before, but and the shirt is really, if you know the series, the shirt's really funny. But it's not something I would ever wear out in public. Okay, let the record show that I would never go around sniffing random people's hair or kidnapping random people because I like their hair, like this character does, or stalking people because of their hair. That character is just a horrible, horrible person, which is why you can't help but love her because she's just so extra of a villain. Just yeah, just disturbingly. And the majority of the characters in the series are, yeah, they just really like hair, apparently. I try to I try to hide my anime weeb power level in real life. I'm actually wearing a metal band shirt today from Corpaclani compared to what I was about to wear before I thought better of it, which is Magical Girl Raising Project Super Hair Audition. Oh yeah, yeah, no, this character, oh, her power is she has a magical crystal ball that pretty much just lets her, if she wraps like a piece of hair around her finger, she can see that person and see what they're doing, and she can reach through and manipulate them. Oh, well, the anime, there's a light novel series, but the anime only covers the first arc. And I probably have explained this before, but the first arc is almost like the origin story for the main character. What magical girl powers do I have? Well, the thing is, in the first story arc, there was a character with the power to oh, that's the thing is a lot of the time the magical power is literally like something that seems like incredibly stupid. And ends up being the most broken thing ever. It's sort of like JoJo, where somebody will have a power that just seems like that's just stupid. And it ends up being like super, super broken. And the inverse is somebody will have a power that just seems like super, super overpowered, and they're a jobber. They get jobbed. And of course, like the first story arc is pretty much it's the origin story for the main character. So it's like if they took the scene in Batman where Batman's parents are brutally murdered in front of him and stretched it out to 13 episodes. It's pretty much the main character just getting horrifically traumatized by all these people she knew just being killed horribly. Of course, the author's favorite character isn't exempt, but he ends up having her turn into a demigod or an actual god after she gets killed off. That's a bit of a spoiler, but it's okay. It's not that big of a spoiler because she only occasionally influences the plot with people getting weird prophetic dreams from an incredibly lazy, sleepy, magical girl. But then after the first story arc, it gets into like the politics of the magical girl system, where they have like their own like complicated political structure and power struggles and like struggling for like jobs and positions and everything. It's super, super complicated. Like the villain in this, and of course I have issues with like people are just like battle maniacs going too far. Like this character who was like a famous trainer ends up snapping and starts hosting death games inspired by the events of the first novel because she wants to train the best magical girls, like the ideal hero of magical girl. Which of course, her ideal magical girl hero ends up being the main character. Oh, that's another case where the powers being super broken is the power of the main character is to hear the hearts of people in distress. So you think like, oh, she can hear people are like in trouble and rescue them. And it's like it gets like ends up like becoming super broken. It's like, no, if anybody's even slightly worried, she can hear what they're thinking. So as long as they're worried. So like if she's trying to break into a computer system, she just go up to a clerk and think like, ask them, hey, what's the password? And they'll be like, I'm not telling you, while thinking like, oh God, I hope she doesn't figure out that the password is this. And it's like, okay, I got it. Thanks. Or if she's in a fight, even though her attack power is like average for a magical girl, she can hear like if the person's thinking like, I hope the sneak attack works, she hears that distress and can counter it. So then like there's somebody, this is a bit of a spoiler, but you might forget this by the time if you read the series by the time you read it. Whereas the character had incredibly stupid sounding power where it's just to make rainbow bridges between 2 points. And it's like, that sounds stupid. But if you just make a rainbow bridge between one point and another, and that point just happens to have a person in between it, it's like just Splitsville. And then there is another one where their power is just to manipulate demonic black wings they have. And that's all the power description says, is them. But she can manipulate them any way she wants. She can turn them into like a a sentient automaton. She can turn them into a nuke. She can manipulate them any way she wants. Like she could literally destroy a whole city. Like there's this other scene where they're introducing another battle maniac character where they're like the computer assistant for the main character is like describing like the whole like what this person did, and it's like, oh, they went to the Middle East and got caught up in several conflicts there. And it's like it seems like it'd be fun. It's like they went to a South American banana republic and got involved in the civil war there. And it's like I wanted to punch a tank, all this stuff, and it's like her magical power is to sprout flowers from her head. And it's like, well, it seems really stupid when you put it that way. Oh, it's still ongoing, but still, I'd keep on reading it. And of course, the series is like anybody with the potential can turn into a magical girl. Anyone. Which, of course, everybody knows, everybody's seen the anime at least knows, like, oh, even a boy can turn into a magical girl. But no, it gets more absurd. Like, animals can turn into magical girls. Like, there's a hamster magical girl. Like, and then there's a turtle who gets caught up in a spell and turns into a magical girl. They've only ever actually had 2 boy magical girls. And of course, one is in the first story arc, and the other is in a manga spin-off where that character is a complete sociopath. But they've had a few animals, a few weird alchemical constructs that could turn into magical girls. But yeah, it's a very, very interesting magical girl male. I think one of the side stories was, I don't know, my power would probably be like the one character who's from one of the characters from the first story arc, where it's just to boost the power of any gun she has. So, like, there's a scene from the beginning where they're going through like all these reported sightings of magical girls that were being posted to the internet. Like, oh, a pair of angels helped rescue somebody. And it's like, oh, a ninja saved somebody from a truck or something, and a cowgirl just shot up a rival Yakuza headquarters. So it's like a cowboy-themed magical girl, oh, Calamity Mary, where in real life, the magical girl is actually a 40-year-old alcoholic failed housewife. Oh, cute high Earth Defense Club is amazing. Just the sheer apathy from all the main characters. How much the main characters in cute high Earth Defense Club hate their job, hate everything. And of course, they're compelled into acting too. So all like the magical spells they cast are just like they do all like the lines, and then just like, wait, why the fuck is my body doing this? Like, fuck you, you evil magical koala. And half of what they say is just calling one of the characters gay. Like the little, like the underclassman character who wears like the sailor collar. Like half of what they're saying is just like cynical, like it's like, oh, like did he really just come out right now talking like, oh, he's absolutely precious, but it's just like just outright like saying like did it's like, God, why are we working with this homo? It's as far as like deconstructions of the magical girl genre go, that one's pretty good. Like it's kind of hard not to like that one. Okay, we want to show I just realized the line quality on these moccasins isn't ideal. But yeah, it's just like Magical Girl Racing Project, though, like all like the political intrigue and everything, like assassinations, like secret like research laboratories, and like fighting factions and mages. It's 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 a lot of fun. Like I recommend it if you like that kind of thing, which you should. But Magical Girl Ore, I actually couldn't get into. It was just, I mean, it was kind of funny, but there's this other manga, but it hasn't updated it in forever, where it's about this like an old like granny who becomes a magical girl, and it is just the cutest one ever. But I haven't seen it get updated in a while. I might have to dig through and try and find it. But like, there's this one scene where it's like when she turns back into a magical girl, she looks young again. So like she goes and gets her old school uniform and gets pictures in her old school uniform. It's just adorable. I love it. And yeah, that one is fun. See, let's add a feather. Yeah, magical aura just wasn't my kind of thing. I've read and watched a lot of stupid stuff and made it through it, but I just lost interest in Magical Girl Aura. I mean, I guess the love, like, never got into Osamatsu-san. I've actually been getting way too much into light novels. Like, oh, like Ascendance of a Bookworm is my absolute favorite light novel series. I got the J Novel Club membership just so I can read that as it comes out or gets officially translated. Yeah, no, Ascendance of a Bookworm. If I had to pick a character that I probably would end up being if I got isekai, despite what I would actually want to be, I'd probably end up being Mine. Like, I want to think like, oh no, I would act rationally, but no, if I didn't have any books to read, I would literally go as crazy as Mine, just trampling over everything, my desire for books to read. I mean, honestly, like, who here wouldn't do this? I'm pretty sure plenty of you wouldn't do the same, but I would do that. I would definitely do that. I've watched the first couple episodes of that one, haven't finished it yet. It's interesting in how accurately they show medieval warfare. I guess that's like one of the main highlights of that one. And then it's kind of funny how they're having the issue where the main character uses her succubus familiar to influence events, but they run into the issue with with too many gay people. So she summons an incubus, and the incubus is like super cute Shota. But they're all like gung ho. It's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna seduce all the women. It's like, so they, it's like, okay, here's your current mark. Get to work. It's like, wait, this is a guy. It's like, Maria, Maria, I think this guy might be gay. But that one was kind of fun. Oh, didn't Skull get hired by Games Workshop because they don't like fan videos or something? That's actually really kind of. I mean, it's like Games Workshop is doing everything they can to lose fans. But sorry. I mean, I think Nintendo can sort of still function, but yeah, I mean, Games Workshop is just like, you buy here with how they're acting towards fans. Like, how dare you make fan videos? Oh, the weapon. Warhammer. Oh, yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to go wrong with a heavy, blunt object. And... okay, I think as far as drawing hands go, that's probably the most successful hand I've drawn in a while. Holding the long rifle. Besides that, just add a few more wrinkles and divots. And that should be good. I think we're actually about done, almost. So, civilian clothing of the American Revolution. We have one politician, or politicals type person, and one long hunter, frontiersman, or frontierswoman. Oh no, like by the late medieval, they were making armor strong enough to stop bullets. That's where the term proof mark comes from, is to prove that this armor will actually work. So they'd shoot it with a handgun. Gun spelled with Gonne, and that dent would be the proof mark to prove this is good armor. And then, of course, it also started to apply for guns, too, to prove that this gun won't blow up on you. They'd fire a proof load through it. And then they'd mark it to prove that it shot it. Usually it'd be like 2 times the standard load for a lot of guns, if I remember properly. There's a really good documentary about colonial gunsmithing. Like, it's on the old side, but they show them proofing it, like forging a barrel, proofing it, and all that. I really recommend that series. But yeah, just that kind of history is just super fascinating. And I guess this is about it for the night, because I have to get up early tomorrow, and after I run the important stuff I need to show up for, I'll probably go and buy more art supplies too. So should be a fun day. And now, who should we raid? I know there's people we should be raiding. I guess... I think, Akiaji Margo is, oh, for some reason Bloom isn't showing up. Wait, Bloom is doing Fortnite? We can raid, Margo. She's doing retro games. Don't know exactly which retro game she's doing, but she's also in the VTuber choir too, as another one of the altos. So I guess we can give her a raid. What should the raid message be? The coven is upon you might be good. So ready, and let's raid. Why is it making noise? Oh, it's giving me a ad while I'm trying to raid. Ready, and let's go.